Hello, hello. Welcome back to my channel. I am Dixie Lincoln Nichols, and this is my 30-day YouTube challenge. I made it to day 5. Woohoo! Thank you for being here. Thank you for checking out my channel. If you listened to my previous videos from 1 through 4, I shared some of my origin story. I shared some of my career path. I shared some of my self-care info. I shared a bunch of things. I can't remember everything I shared, but I shared quite a bit of information to give you some perspective and some background in terms of who I am. So today I'm going to share something fun that happened this week that I'd love to give to you as a gift for tuning in to day 5. If you listened to my videos prior, you would have heard that most of my work is rooted and grounded in well-being. And I also dabble in the wellness sector. So let's be clear. There is a huge difference between wellness and well-being. Wellness is an industry that provides resources. Okay? Wellness is an industry that provides resources. Well-being is deeply personal and something that you have a lot of control over. So don't get confused between the two. When people are talking about wellness, 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 that's an industry. They'll provide you with all the things that they think you need to support your well-being, you, the individual, right? So my work is grounded in well-being. It's grounded in supporting the individual. But I also find myself cross-pollinating in the wellness industry because I depend on the wellness industry at times for resources to support myself and to support the people I support, right? But it's all about being knowledgeable about what the wellness industry has to offer and what you need from the wellness industry to support your well-being. Got it? Okay. So what am I going to share with you today that's fun? Well, I mentioned also in my previous videos that my work has been featured in outlets and magazines and on television, et cetera, et cetera. And that still happens. So sometimes I am contacted by an editor or so to share my work in terms of well-being work that I do. And recently, a while back, actually, I was put in touch with someone from, well, an editor who was writing for AARP, and she wrote an article that was made live. I think that went live last week, but I shared it this week with my community. So I want to share that with you. Yeah, I want to share what that is all about. So menopause. I talked about menopause and the fact that I do work in the menopausal space. In fact, my current company that I co-own is called Life in the Pause. And we have a platform that empowers and supports women as they navigate the well-aging journey and the menopausal journey. And so this article was really fun because the title of it is Menopause Parties Are Trending. Here's how to throw one. I'm not going to read the whole article for you, of course, but I'm just going to give you the gist of it. So it's featured on AARP. And so let's talk about AARP just a little bit. I have been in my AARP era since 47. Now, I don't know if you've ever gotten mails from AARP. I remember when my husband turned 47, he got mail from AARP, and I remember chuckling and laughing and saying, "Ooh, you are officially a senior citizen." When I got my letter from AARP, I was like, "Oh, wow, I am a senior citizen." But I held on to it and did nothing with it until I was 50. So at 50, I signed up for AARP. And so I subscribed. Now, the subscription is not a lot of money, and this is not an ad. They did not reach out to me for anything. I just find it to be useful because you can find coupons for that can support different areas of your life. Like when you compare some of the insurance rates, and then you might want some additional smaller insurance that you may not be able to find elsewhere. Like they send you these packets with stuff in it that's sometimes so valuable. So don't overlook AARP. It's $20 a year for two people. So I paid $20 for the membership for my husband and then we get the quarterly magazines as well. You don't, I don't know if you can opt out of the magazine, but there is an online version of the magazine, and then there is the actual print version of the magazine. So it also comes with access to all of their online information. So everything that's online, you have access to it because you're a member, and you also get access to like towing and all of this stuff. So check it out because I think it's quite useful. Yeah, but anyway, it was quite fun getting featured in this AARP article on the website. So you won't be able to read the article if you are not a member. Menopause parties are trending. Here's how to throw one. And why is this important for me? Because I'll tell you the story. I was in perimenopause for 12 years. And then I went into full menopause in 2022. On November the 23rd, 2022, I had made a full year of not having had a period. So, in case you didn't know, in order to be menopausal or considered menopausal, you have to go 12 whole months without having a period. So if you go 11 months and then you have a period, you got to start the countdown all over again. So 12 whole months without a period. Then you are considered officially in menopause. So that was the case for me on November the 23rd, 2022. So my last period was November the 23rd, 2021. I know these things because I love documenting. I love keeping records and keeping track. And that's how I am always kind of aware of my numbers. And so on that day, I had myself a celebration. I am not a party person, and it wasn't a party, but there were some party elements that I threw in for that day. Several months before the day occurred, before the anniversary, which I dubbed Meniversary, right? You heard it here first. I dubbed Meniversary. I'm not fettered to finding things first anyway, but just a little humble brag. So I call it Meniversary. Several months prior to that, I started having this desire, this yearning for something celebratory, something that felt good and aligned with what was happening. Because to me, I felt that that was a big deal. I was going from this phase of my life where I was reproductive to this phase of my life where my reproduction stopped and where I was going into this postmenopausal era where my body was also changing. So the changes, of course, have been gradual since I was in perimenopause for 12 years. And I felt all the changes. I'm not going to go into all the menopause things. We'll talk about that later. But I decided to honor that desire, that craving, that wanting that my body was feeling. And so I talk about being in awareness of the sensations of your body. That was a sensation that I'm so happy I did not deny. And so I tuned in, I acknowledged, and I took action. Remember, AAA? Go back to yesterday's video if you want to know more about AAA, awareness, acknowledgement, and action. And once I came into awareness of what I was feeling and this desire that I was having, I was like, oh my God, my body is wanting to celebrate and to honor and acknowledge this rite of passage that I was experiencing. Think of it kind of like jumping the broom, right? When people get married, they jump the broom to signify moving into another phase of their lives. So this was my jump in the broom moment. And so I got up the morning and I did my rituals. I'm huge into rituals. I prayed. I looked out the window, looked up, said some affirmations. I did Qigong. I'm a Qigong teacher and practitioner. So I've been learning and teaching Qigong for several years. For like 10 years, I've been learning and teaching since 2029. When I was certified, I did my Qigong routine. I called up my mom, called up my sister, called up a couple of friends, had breakfast the morning with my husband, and then I put on some music from my home country, Trinidad and Tobago. So, we're big with soca and calypso. So I put on some calypso and it was dance, 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 and for us, it's not just dance, it's whining, right? So it was like whining down to the ground and back up again, whining down and back up again. And my body just felt so acknowledged. I felt like I was seeing me, and I didn't want anybody else to see me. Like it wasn't about that, because if I did, it would have been a whole let me do this outside. Hold on. It would have been, hold on one second. I just wanna, my phone is on there. Yeah, so this wasn't about being recognized. It was about me recognizing what my body needed and giving my body what it needed at the time. I wrote in my journal. I had quiet time. I contemplated and I envisioned what life would be like. I had lunch, really nice lunch. I dressed up the way that I wanted to dress up. And it was a beautiful day, a beautiful, nourishing, self-fulfilling day. I felt full. I felt complete. I felt content. And I felt like I gave my body what it needed to cross that threshold, to cross into this different type of experience that I am currently having. So that was November the 23rd, 2022, 2023, 24, 25. So this year, November the 23rd would make it 3 years since I have been postmenopausal. So what this article covered were, and it wasn't only me, there was someone else who was tapped for the article. So she basically covered the different ways and ideas that women can utilize for, or tips for them to have their own party, their own celebration, their own acknowledgement. For me, because I'm not a party person, it was about celebration. Partying, you can dance without having a party. So I danced my behind away, and there was no party, but there was me. There was me acknowledging. And this is the article here that I have. And so my perspective for celebrating this stage of life is self-care. I, again, see, everything I do is grounded in self-care. And it's because of my self-care vow. I vow to be unapologetic about my care, to do something every day to nourish my body, my mind, and my spirit, to take great care of me, and to support others with love, goodness, and grace. It's because of that vow that I'm able to approach this time from a sense of groundedness and rootedness in self-care. So, what did she talk about? So, I'm just going to read the first sentence. Lincoln Nichols focuses on how self-care and celebration can go hand in hand. Here are her party ideas for women who want to feel cherished as they navigate this life transition. Number one, magic mirror. So basically, this is like mirror works, and you may know of mirror works. I'm still struggling with the Invisalign and being able to speak sometimes. My lip gets stuck to the plastic at times. But anyway, mirror works, and mirror works is something I absolutely love. I stand in front of the mirror every single day after my shower and I'm moisturizing from scalp to soul. I stand in front of the mirror and I am very much connected with what I see. In 2016, I got myself a magnifying mirror and I started using that mirror as my main mirror to look at my face, to cleanse my face, to put on my makeup. And I remember the first time looking in the mirror, and it was like, oh my God. Ugh. Every nook and cranny, every line, every crease, everything you see close up because everything is magnified, times its normal size. And so it was the best thing I could do for myself, especially as my body started to change and move into this new phase. It was as though I was training my brain, right? Training my brain to see myself in the mirror and love myself the way that I am. Love what was reflecting back at me. And I love what I see. I look in the mirror all the time, and because I'm connecting with what I see close up, nothing anybody can say to me bothers me. I couldn't care less how people see me, how they describe me, what they think about me, whether they think I'm attractive or unattractive. Couldn't care less. Why? Because when I look in the mirror, because I have trained my brain to love what I see, I will always love what I see. That is the power of mirror works. So basically, I was creating new neural pathways for my brain and training it to every time it saw these lines under my eyes or any dark circles under my eyes or creases in my forehead to love it. And it's a practice that I still do every single day because I recognize the power of it. It is the practice that helped me to embrace my grays. It is the practice that helped me to stop putting chemicals in my hair. It is the practice that helped me to love myself exactly the way that I am. Now, I'm not saying that I don't do fun things in the name of style and fashion with myself. I do. I put braids in my hair. And even that I've been kind of learning to abstain from as much as I can, but sometimes I kind of fall back. But it's practice. It's practicing. It's training your brain to see things in a different way. And in this case, mirror work. So give it a try. So on the day of my anniversary, I did mirror works as well. I stood in front of the mirror. I did some affirmations and loved myself and was grateful for having had the opportunity and the gift to witness this stage in my life. And then the next thing she talked about is ancestral connections. So she states that Lincoln Nichols believes that embracing our ties to ancestors can help support women through the change. Build and honor your own ancestral connections by asking friends to a gathering where they bring a picture or other mementos of their foremothers. Serve refreshments. You associate with your own matriarchs. Together, share stories and lessons from those ancestral women who have been where you are now. Such a beautiful practice, weaving in our ancestral ties to our current experience. I know for me, I've asked my mom and my grandmother of their experiences and how they felt. My great grandmother was diagnosed at the time schizophrenic. She had a total break with reality around 55. And so a big part of me wonders, oh my God, could menopause have had or contributed to what she went through? I don't know. It's just a question that I have because now we know so much about menopause and how it affects people's mental health. But anyway, have an altar honoring these folks or light a candle honoring them or look at pictures that you have of them. I don't have pictures of my great grandmother. I hold her memory in my mind and I can never forget it. And bring them into the rite of passage as you experience it yourself. Yeah. So I thought that this was really cool to share with you. And if you are on the perimenopause spectrum, you are in your 40s, you are approaching menopause, consider having yourself a celebration, whether it's with a party where there are people there, there is dancing, whether it's a dinner date with your friends, whether it's a solo trip where you retreat to yourself to do reflections, whether it's staying at home and creating several different mini rituals throughout the day, like I did. Whatever you decide to do, I think it is such a powerful message to your body to celebrate and honor how far it has brought you. And we're not talking about, anything other than the fact that you are here. I know it's not easy for a lot of people as they navigate the experience, as they experience perimenopause. It comes with so many issues and symptoms that people have to work through. But when you cross over, you're in another realm of the process, right? One that will continue on until the day you die. So why not honor it as best as you can? So, yeah, I just wanted to share that with you. And I know some people have asked me, well, I don't even know when my menopause date was because they just weren't keeping track. And, people weren't talking about this for a long time, right? It's only within the last 5, 6 years people really started amplifying the conversation. But yeah, you can do it too. You can pick any day, any time that you want, and give yourself a retro celebration. Have a retro celebration for this time of your life. People have birthday parties all the time. They have quinceañeras. They have, you know, graduation parties. They have Sweet 16 birthday parties. They have all kinds of celebrations for phases in their lives. So why not have a celebration for this one? I did. I'm glad I did. And I encourage you to lean into some type of ritual to honor your body as it navigates the aging spectrum and as it navigates the menopausal spectrum. Yep, so that's it for me today. Wanted to share that with you. Thank you for tuning in. I made it to day 5. And I will be posting a short tomorrow and Sunday for day 6 and 7. And I will be back on Monday with a full video. So stay tuned.